What's going on, guys? KayGee here from the Football Capital, and we're here for another A-League episode. And I'm joined with a couple of guests. We have Marty the Mariner. Marty, g'day.
How are you, mate?
Very well, mate. Very well. Mate, we're getting you on the first episode covering the Mariners, and we've got a bit of a lineup here. If you haven't noticed, we've got Banana from RBTV and the Wanderers Central Coast this weekend, so we've got a bit to talk about. And obviously the man from Perth's active supporter group up at Central Coast, 𝐠𝐸. 𝐠𝐸, thanks for joining us.
No worries, mate. We have to get the suitcase out to get the guests on, man. You know, the budget.
The only 3 points he's going to get this year.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, mate. We'll see.
Geez, Banana's opening up. Well, look, considering there was obviously a full round of fixtures on the weekend, we'll get straight into it. We'll start talking about some of the games that were played over the weekend. And Friday night, Banana, the Western Sydney Wanderers defeating Newcastle Jets, and I know we covered it on your show on RBTV, and we sort of, you weren't confident you were calling a draw, but the boys get a victory. How was it?
Right, felt good, man. Like you said, but just then we came. Excuse me. Yeah, we came into. I came into the game thinking, man, it's gonna be another fucking. You don't know what's gonna happen. Usually we struggle against these teams, man. Like these lower. Don't like to say, it's not nice to say, but look, the lower half teams. We normally struggle against them, man. We have a hard time, man. Like even against old mates here, Mariners too. We have a hard time with beating these teams. They come to our ground and man, they play their asses off, man. Same just as the Newcastle Jets, they play their asses off. And I was expecting the same thing on Friday night, man. I actually thought draw would be the best result, man. But I was worried maybe we'll even. Newcastle take all 3 points, but man, our blokes came out firing, man, from the first minute to the 90th minute. It was crazy pressure, like from start to go. It was something I haven't seen in a very, very long time from Western Sydney, man. So very pleased with the 3 points, man.
What was the highlight for you on Friday night? Because I know obviously Brandon Borrello got some raps and another clean sheet for the boys. So what was most impressive for you on Friday night?
Friday night, most impressive, man. Like you said just then, man. Borrello, man, he tore it apart, man. He was like us. We used to see this bloke play before when he played for Brisbane Roar. We know he can tear it up, man, and he's probably had not the best, maybe couple of seasons away up in Europe, man. But he's come back and he's slowly worked his way up to where he wants to be, man. And I think now it's just onwards and upwards from him, man. It's going to be insane, man. And just don't forget, we got a few more players, man, even players that haven't got to play yet, man, to stand out.
Your favourites, Ollie from Central Coast, he hasn't started yet, and
yeah, he's like I've said multiple times, he's a player that I've wanted out of our club, man. He's the player that has will bring the steel into the midfield, man. But I think we've already got that with Neuenhoff, man. So, but yeah, I can't wait to even see Bozanic line up in the starting 11 soon, man. So see what happens.
Fingers crossed, because a couple of boys are coming back from Little Niggle, so we'll hopefully see them strip up soon. But Marty, 𝐠𝐸, outside looking at the Wanderers, what are you guys thinking? Are you sort of surprised, or do you think these guys can potentially go all the way? Looking from a unbiased opinion, what do you guys sort of feel about the Wanderers?
Look, to be honest,
that was actually. I was just going to say that was the best performance by the Wanderers this season. I thought they're building. They look like a team that is building, and they're actually. A lot of changes as happens at clubs, but they look like a lot of it clicked. I thought Neuenhoff was brilliant. I thought he was outstanding out there. I agree with Borrello. And Newcastle haven't been playing bad. They've actually had some decent results and been going okay. So, I think that was a good win for the Wanderers. I mean, they're definitely going to be no pushovers this year. And no, mate, I still think there's improvement in them too. So they're definitely a team that's building. And watch out for those guys this year.
And 𝐠𝐸?
Yeah, 100%. I said it in this game. I think they needed to. I think the goals need to start coming now for the Wanderers. The 1-0, the 1 goals. I thought against Newcastle, they needed to score more than 1 goal to try win this game. They did have a few chances at the end. Piscopo with that goal, with the header. Your goalkeeper Lawrence, fantastic save. He hasn't really been called upon a lot. You know what I mean? You guys haven't been really. You know, you haven't come up against a team where you're getting shots thrown at you left, right, and center, where he's a bit warmed up, right? He comes in cold every now and then. Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, you guys hardly get the goal threatened, but when it does, he's there. You know, he's one of the players that at the moment. I mean, he's been a fantastic signing for you guys. The back line is a bit worrying in terms of the speed. I think there's a few times that the quicker players might get in behind. But at the moment, man, you guys are looking good. 𝐠𝐸, I don't know, bro. At the moment, I think he's one of the players that needs to improve, needs to maybe adjust with everyone else. Everyone else is kind of maybe a few paces above. Even with a few shots, the last game. Yeah, against Newcastle, scuffed. Yeah, but it's not just that. But the last couple of games,
I think what Banana would say it would be that he's playing out of position. So, you know,
but you're playing out of position. But that the shots that he's taking is where his position would be, in front of goals, taking on players.
True.
So, do you know what I'm saying? But it's not like it's been bad. It's just like everyone else is kind of a little bit of a level. Yeah, exactly now. And
Well, he shined in the victory game, man, and then I think the round 3 game, everyone was a bit maybe too high on spirit, and it kind of backfired a bit on us. And the round 4, like you were saying, all the players stepped up, and I don't know. I think everyone's a little bit too harsh on 𝐠𝐸, man, because that miss he's skyrocketed. But anyway, shit happens, man. It happens.
But Banana,
hopefully he can bag a few this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
but Kev's gone, mate.
Right.
At the same time, it's like it's not even that's like picking. Trying to find Wanderer is a problem at the moment, and that's like kind of scraping. Like, yeah, this is like the least of your worries, to be honest. But if you want to pick at something for the Wanderers, it is that. And it's not even a big deal, to be honest. You guys have been, to be honest,
it's not a big deal. Like what are you gonna? Like, what are you going to get out of that? Like, if that's your main target, like the left wing of 𝐠𝐸 playing on the left-hand side, bro, like it's not really a game plan to attack him, because he's really
physical.
He's more he's in the front third most of the time, bro. He's not really at the back, so
but that's what I'm saying. Once he gets on the same level as everyone else and steps it up, and look, it's a new club and it's a new season. It's gonna, mate. It's hard to say, mate. The Wanderers are looking good, mate. About time, you know. Maybe the sleeping giants are back, still undefeated. Only 2 teams. Is it 2 teams now? You guys in City, the only teams that are undefeated so far in 4 games. So, and this week you're up against the Mariners. So, look, the Wanderers are doing their business. Doing the business.
Yeah, see how it pans out. But there's a lot of We've played a lot of games, obviously. You know, sort of within Sydney. You know. I know we had the obviously victory away, but we've played their home games, and even our last game before the break is the Sydney Derby. So we haven't had to do too much traveling, which has worked in our benefit. But at the same time, we're picking up the points. So interesting to see how that one goes. But there was a bit of I don't know what I'm going to call it. A game that sort of didn't live up to the hype. Melbourne victory in Brisbane Roar. Charlie Austin, Nani. Managed to get a selfie with Nani at Melbourne Airport when I landed on Friday before they head up. But I don't know. Sort of didn't live up to the expectations. Marty, I don't know if you caught that game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was something. I honestly thought Victory would come out and make a statement, and they didn't. And I thought Brisbane would probably try and take another step and keep pushing, and they didn't. It was a really nothing kind of game. You were just waiting for something to happen. And there's so many players out there, individual, that can do things and just never seem to eventuate. I think, who'd be more disappointed at the end of the day. But, a lot of people, and me included, sort of tip Brisbane to sort of be, sitting pretty low, and Melbourne Victory should be coming out and punishing teams like that. And they just never did. And, that was a surprise to me. But it just never really got going. I just think it was really stale.
Yeah, even with 10 men, Brisbane got the keeper. Was it the keeper that got sent off for coming out of his box? And it's like, even with 10 men, you think, here we go, Melbourne victory with the players they have and the past results as well. I mean, they got a player sent off last week against City, and they still look like they created a few chances where they could have scored. Now they should be taking the opportunities, even against what do you call it? Even against the Wanderers 2 weeks ago. Same thing. You don't take your early chances and you start dropping points. And look, I know it's still early, but you never know. You keep building these habits, and then there's another 2 points dropped, another 1 point drop, or 3 points dropped, and you're fighting for that top 6 place. And especially a team that a lot of us have picked them to probably win it or even win the minor premiers. I mean, they're not looking too good at the moment. Yeah.
So I know, Borch, we covered this last week, but wanted to ask Banana, do we think that Melbourne Victory are a little bit of pretenders? They're all their hype is sort of off the back of what they achieved last year, and they're not quite going to make it this year?
Bro, I reckon they've like it's good they bring Nani into the league, like the A-League's got Nani, but I think sometimes these signings, bro, they backfire on the club, man. Instead of getting more strength into the midfield and out on the wings and up front, man, I think they're pretty solid at the back. Well, it hasn't really helped at the moment. But if you know what I'm saying, I just feel like they've wasted that money on bringing someone in where they could have brought up extra 2-3 players and they could have strengthened them up, man. But fuck, man, you can see there's glimpses in it, but it's not working. But there you go. You see, they've gone out and got Fornaroli. They pinched Fornaroli from Perth at the moment. I don't know. Let's hopefully that gets them firing.
Does he solve their problems, Banana?
I think it's a temporary problem, man, because they've got how many attackers up front do they have now? They got 5, 6 of them, yeah. Like, who are you going to start? Are you going to drop? Are you going to drop? What's his name? D'Agostino, man. Now, like, you've got Juric there. You don't know what's happening in Juric. Juric is on and off, man. From Fornaroli, he's not injured, so obviously they're going to want to see him out on the pitch, man. So
yeah,
and I think it's a little bit of a mess up front. It's a headache up front.
Yeah, I just think some of the chances that they've got this season, he kind of tucks them away. The Brillante one before in the City game, he probably puts that away in the 6-yard box, and then some of the other chances a little bit clear cut. Fornaroli puts them away. So in terms of being a little bit more clinical up front, they probably do have that because they do create chances. It's not like their midfielders and their wingers don't create. It's just the final ball, the final finish. It's been lacking. They could have been 2-0 up against you guys early doors as well. You know what I'm saying? But if they had someone a bit more clinical, look, I don't think Nine is a waste of money. I think he's got an assist. I think he causes the problem.
It's a good deal. Let's not be wrong. It's a good addition to the league, to Melbourne and everything. But I just reckon they're lacking in the middle of the park, man. You know, you can't rely on with Brillante the whole time. You know what I mean?
Exactly, he's suspended as well.
He's due by date. You know.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. I get that. Yeah.
It's look, disappointing result, I think, for both teams. Mate, on it a little bit before, but you know, a lot that could have been taken out of that game, but they've both sort of dropped the ball. But mate, look, we can't turn our attention away from the next match on that Saturday. Marty, your Mariners played one half of football and put away Western United. I think Borcha and I sort of looked at this fixture last week and we're like, fuck, good luck trying to predict this one. And it was literally that, like a 2-0 at halftime. You wouldn't have thought Central Coast would, you know, maybe a comeback, maybe a 2-2 draw, but 4-2, Marty? Jeez.
Mate, I know you guys said it on the on last week too, how it was Halloween dress-up night, and mate, it was a horror because that first half we were just, you know, I didn't think we were a 2-0 down kind of. It didn't look like that at the ground. We actually felt like we were going all right. Same thing as against Perth. We just didn't, you know, weren't clinical in that final third. But I never felt that we were out of it. Did I expect? I mean, yes, there was a send-off. Topor Stanley goes, cops 3 weeks for his tackle, but. Yeah, did I expect a 4-2? No, but mate, they just got absolutely overrun into that game, and even we were sitting there going, "This is the team that won the comp last year. They won the grand final, and yet they weren't defending in numbers. They looked lazy. They looked slow. I was surprised with how many we put. I mean, and it was 4 different goal scorers, and 3 of them came off the bench. So we have got the attack when we could click and get it together. But yeah, no, look, I just thought early in the game we competed well, we defended well, shape was good. Our defensive errors is what has got us in trouble since the start of the season. We've got to correct those. But we've certainly got the players up the other end of the park. I think we're very similar to Wanderers in a lot of ways. I think our defence is kind of not where we'd like it to be, but we've got the firepower up the other end of the field. So, yeah, look, we'll definitely take the points. And I think it's a bit of a worrying time for Aloisi in the team, but big test for us this weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah, look, I wasn't always a big fan of Aloisi. I remember his days at Melbourne Heart and, having those 15 or 16 matches in a row where he didn't pick up a win. But what he did last year with Western United, and they were grinding out victories 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, similar to what the pattern of the Wanderers at the moment. But struggle street for him, Butch, don't you reckon?
Yeah, man, we spoke about this last week as well, and this, they're still winless for a team that won the grand final. You thought they'll come out and maybe recruitment and could have been a bit better, but I don't know, bro. What's happening with Western United? I think they're kind of back where they maybe should be, because last week they had a cracker season in terms of grabbing the results when they needed to. Yeah, they can't buy a win at the moment, and being 2-0 up. And Marty, when did the red card happened? When it was still 2-2. Yeah, you guys came back. It was 2-2. Then the red card.
2-1, 2-0. It was still.
Yeah.
Oh, it was still 2-0. But then again, even being 2-0 down, I mean, they concede 4. Bit of game management, I think. Aloisi, you got to try maybe close shop a little bit more, especially when Mariners were coming out late in the first half. You saw Mariners starting to fire up as well, like they did against Perth as well. So you knew what they were going to do when they came out against Perth. You guys did exactly the same thing. Second half, you came out. It's like another team. But yeah, Western United, man. Yeah, look, I'm not too bothered where they are at the moment, to be honest. But yeah, it's not looking good for them.
Yeah, they're not going to be the.
As long as they have less points than Perth, mate. We're all good.
They're on one, Butch.
They're on one. We got the free, mate.
You got a 2 lead there. Look, I do want to move into the fake Sydney derby. I know it was trying to be promoted by MacArthur, but Sydney FC didn't want to have a bar of it. But Butch, I know you've got something to say, but before you do, I just wanted to touch because Banana and I are in a different group chat, and we were astounded by the penalty that was given in that particular game, and it's been 2 weeks in a row now that Sydney's had the rub of the green in terms of decisions. Banana, what were your thoughts?
I didn't see the penalty until late because we were doing actually at the same time we were doing a podcast. But later on, I think I saw it too late, like the penalty. I honestly could not believe my eyes, man. I was showing guys who don't even watch football, A-League, soccer, A-League, whatever you want to call it. They were going, at least, bare minimum, it should have been a foul for MacArthur. That is, bro, this is getting ridiculous. This is 2 weeks in a row, and he's looking from other clubs looking in. You gotta start questioning some things, man. I said, what is going on here, man? 2 weeks ago against Adelaide, they had one, wasn't even close to a red card. Gone to VAR. VAR has fucking completely denied it. Come this week again, MacArthur player gets taken down. This baffles me. He gets taken down, and it's a penalty. Like, what is going on with this VAR? Who is looking at the VAR? Like, do we understand the rules? What's going on? Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone in the ground was baffled and saying this guy it's a foul for us, and then 2 seconds later, the guy's pointing to the floor and to the middle of the fucking 18-yard box saying it's a pen. This is crazy stuff that we're seeing, man. It's not just a one-off. It's happened. It's 2 weeks in a row now. Is that? I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks in a row that we've seen a blunder by VAR in Sydney's favour. Because I mentioned it last week on the show, but it's just becoming a little bit too. I don't know. It sort of looks blatant in a way because. Sure, the referee can make a mistake, but the VAR is there to make sure that anything that's clear and obvious, or I don't know if they still use that terminology, but it's supposed to be anything that's clear and obvious gets overturned. Marty, from your opinion, pen, no pen?
No, not even close. I mean, and I'm straight out. I hate VAR. I hate it. Give the Hawkeye ball over the line. That's technology. It works. No problem. Black or white. VAR just seems to be, and I'm older vintage, and when I used to play, or even local football, the referee makes a decision and you go, all right, no worries. Even if you think it was wrong, you think, well, he saw it once, he's made his decision, you'd move on. Now with VAR, they're watching it from every angle, depending on the cameras at the ground too, which are all different, from different speeds. They slow it down. He touched his toe here and that's his shoelace, and they still can't get it right. And you think you've got all this technology and you're still not doing it. What's the point of having it? And I mean, we spoke about that send-off from the other week. That was unbelievable. We were sitting there watching that game before our game in Gosford, and everyone's just like, no, they'll overturn this. That's just ridiculous. And it never happened. It was like, no, that's a red. It's just absolutely killing the game. And it's and again, a few Sydney fans that I know of are saying, yeah, that wasn't a pen. And if you got Sydney fans who are saying it wasn't a pen, you know it wasn't a pen.
Yeah.
You got to start asking questions. Like, what? Like, I know it's not nice to say this stuff. Like, is something going on in the background? Is there some kind of deals? You don't want to think of that. You don't want to say that. But fuck me, they're not fucking. They're not trying to like.
They're not even close. They're not even close. They're so blatant.
Yeah.
That you can. Yeah. It raises the eyebrows.
Yeah, I know that everyone's 100% right. I got into the ground, and I'll get to my story, but I got into the ground and walked into the bay, and I stopped behind the goal. And you saw it in my little vlog that I did. I caught that incident, the same incident. The MacArthur player goes down, and then it's the Sydney FC player that goes down after him. And I was saying, I'm like, they gotta definitely check that. And you look at that, you look at the red card as well. The red card, I go, you got to be kidding to give a red card in that situation. But then a couple minutes before that, for the studs up, you gave nothing. You just gave a free kick for MacArthur. So I don't know, bro. Sydney FC is getting the rub of the green. But I said to you, Kev, last week, I go, the fact that last week's red card, they've looked at it and said no, it's still a red. The next day have overturned the guy played against Perth and he scored. He scored against us. Do you know what I mean? So. And they've overturned it. So what does that tell you? So why aren't you overturning it during the game and it's not the next day? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's what's baffling here. Like, what was the change in saying it's not 3 games and now saying it's nothing at all? Like, what came from the VAR to whatever? I don't know. Where does it go to this shit? I don't even know where it goes.
I don't know.
Yes, to the match review, but look,
match review. Like, so what's the dialogue there? What's happening here?
You get the guy from the match review to instead of these idiots in the VAR thing. To me, I don't mind VAR. It's just the people that are using it. It's like they don't have no common sense. Who made the tackle? Who's got there first? Is it a penalty? How can everyone else see it? We can be in a VAR thing in the bunker, and we can make that call and say, yeah, no, it's clear and obvious that this MacArthur player got touched first.
You can be someone who doesn't even watch our
like
game,
you were saying.
And they could say, brother, what is going? How could they give that as a penalty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even the Mariners game, I was just going to say, we had a goal disallowed because a ball came on the field. A Mariners player kicked it off. Not one Western player even saw the ball. And they cancelled the goal out. They said, no, there's 2 balls on the field. And it was like, we were watching the game. And it was only because we saw it and it went to a Mariners player and he kicked it straight out again. The Western defenders were sliding across. They missed the tackle, whatever. We score. The cannon goes off, the countdown, everything's happening. And it's like, oh, no, hang on, there was 2 balls on the field. It's like, was there?
I think that one's a little bit touchy-feely, that one, you know what I mean? It's on the borderline there.
Mate, we've seen in the Premier League beach balls on the field and goals going in and it's still being given, you know what I mean? Sunderland, mate. Darren Bent against Pepe Reina. But look, mate, for this MacArthur, let me get into him a little bit before we move on, Kev.
Just what we do here is we're just gonna put a warning.
No. I'll keep it PG. But mate, you guys know Banana. You boys with RBTV, Kev, we've done some interviews even last season for the Sydney Derby outside the ground. We've taken the cameras inside, right? The whole tripod, the whole setup. We've taken everything inside the ground because the car's 15, 20 minutes away, mate. Who's going to go back? They check the bags, they open it, there's nothing, no explosives. If you want to say in the bags, see us later, walk in. Here I am with a backpack. Yeah, I've had the camera in. I was with Scott and RJ from It's a Football Thing, the boys from the podcast. They wanted to do like a little post-match thing because they're both MacArthur supporters. They wanted to do a little post-match after the game. I'm like, yeah, look, I'll bring my camera down. We can try tee something up. No worries. I go in to get the bag checked. The guy's like, what's in here? Food? Nah, mate, it's just the camera. And then all hell breaks loose, right? And this is the biggest crowd they've had. 7,000 or something they've had there. So it was a bit busy outside. The lines are a little bit busy. So we've walked 15 minutes in the line for about 10, right? And here I am. This guy's like, oh, you can't bring a camera in. I'm like, mate, I'm not going to use it for anything. It's literally, I'm just put it in your cloakroom if you want. They're like, yeah, we might have to. So another security guard comes along. He has a look in the bag. He goes, oh, the cameras, blah, blah, blah. So then these guys are making now a big deal. I'm like, bro, I just want to go in. Now, everyone has gone into the stadium. It's only me outside. This guy's calling someone. Let me call someone. Let me call from the media or whatever. He's like, oh, now the stadium cameras are on us now. So he goes, I have no problem with it. But because the cameras are on us now, we have to take some sort of action. I'm like, mate, it's just the bloody camera. Like, what do you think I'm going to live stream the game? I'm going to pull out the camera and live stream the game or something. I don't like, what's the problem? You go, all right, the other lady comes down, she looks at it, the lens is too big. The lens of the camera is too big. It's a commercial lens, you can't take it inside. But she goes, I go, look, I'm not going to use it for anything. If you want it, take it, and I'll pick it up at the end of the game. This guy told me you have a cloakroom. Then she tells me there's no cloakroom. Okay, so then what are these stories?
What's a cloakroom?
Is, you know, when you leave like your jacket or something, you know, your bag. If you got something to come in, here's your ticket. Come pick it up after, you know, whatever. I'm going, no worries. She's like, oh, I don't have a problem with it either, but it's the stadium. I guess so. Whoever has the problem, call them down. This guy doesn't have a problem. You don't have a problem. The person that has the problem, let me speak to them. And this guy's on the thing. Oh, if you're going to deny him entry, I'll just let him know. I'm like, no. We're not gonna let me know. You bring him down. The guy that's denying the entry, you tell him to come down. I don't even understand what the whole problem is.
You're happy to leave the camera.
I'm happy to leave the camera. Okay, take it.
Yeah.
Okay, take it.
I think you also told me the story where you said, hey, look, if there's a security guard in the area wherever I'm sitting, if he sees music camera, kick me out. But this is the thing. Like, I go, then the third guy comes down, right? And he was a little bit reasonable. I go, look, the car is not here. It's not parked here. It's 15-minute walk. We're 10 minutes in the game. I'm the last guy out in the outside the stadium. We're 10 minutes in. The game has kicked off. Everything's gone off. This guy, he goes, I don't want to let you miss the game. I go, bro, take the bag. I don't need the bag. I'm not using it for anything. I'll pick it up after the game, right? And I'm like, he didn't want me to miss the game, so he's taken the bag, taken it to the media room. I go, was that a big of a deal? I go, you could have. Here's my ticket number. This is the bay. This is the bay I'm sitting in. Okay, you could have. If there's the security guards around there, if this guy picks up or starts recording from his camera or whatever you think I'm doing, slap him with a fine, kick him out. Simple as that. If there's some sort of rules, I'll be taking the camera to all these other A-League games. I go, you guys especially, and you know what he said as well. You're gonna laugh. I was wearing one of the football capital shirts, the black ones. Then he's like, mate, because I don't know what you're gonna do in the camera. You got YouTube on your shirt. I go, well, what does it matter what I'm wearing, bro? What does it matter what I'm wearing? You know, what does yeah, you know, what does it matter what I'm wearing? You know what I mean? And yeah, man, just a bit of a hassle, mate. These guys, like, you're trying to build a club, you're trying to build a fan base. And, you know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but I've got more subscribers and more followers than you got active members at the ground.
At a home game.
At a home, not even at a home game, combined of how many members you got, I've got more subscribers. The video, that little vlog that I put up has had more views than your attendance at the Sydney derby, fake Sydney derby. So it's like, bro, like you're trying to get fans in, but then you're doing this to people. Not only that, to top it off, at the end of the game, right, I've gone to pick up my bag. The other boys, he had his son with him. He wanted to take pictures, you know, with the goalkeeper, with Azani and everything. Cool. I looked to the side. I thought fucking this guy's from NASA was working there. The size of his lens, taking pictures with the camera. I thought this guy was looking up at the moon or something, mate. The size of the lens. So how is he getting in? No, with no issue. You know what I mean?
Double standard.
No media pass and anything. I'm like, come on, mate. Especially MacArthur, bro. Like, you're trying to build a fan base, right? And they were sharing stuff from the boys' social media because they support MacArthur. They did like a little video about the derby. They shared it or something. Yeah. And now we're coming in here and they're like, oh no. And I'm the last one, bro. The last one in the ground, bro. But look, anyways, I walked in, penalty. There you go, bro. That's what happens, bro. Karma sometimes comes knocking. But look, a quick one. Adrian Sedzicic scored a goal, which ended up being the winner at the end. You know, a kid that I coached for many years as well. So I'm happy to see him get on the field and get himself a goal as well. So which was good. And also the Cove, rubbish. I can't believe how rubbish the Cove was. I'm sorry to say, you guys rocked up. I thought, you know, your microphone, it sounds like it doesn't work. You guys are half-hearted in your chants. Mate, what's going on? I can hear. I was literally in the next bay next to him, and you can still have a normal conversation. Mate, some of the grounds, especially with you boys in the RBB, I'm on the other side in the away bay, and mate, I can hear you guys loud and clear as well. You know, even the bays next to it. So this Sydney FC, the Cove, mate, you guys are fucking horrible for a derby as well.
You've heard it here first on the football capital.
Yeah, and apparently half the stadium is sold out against you guys, and half of it, the Wanderers have sold out their bay, but not the Cove. So yeah, interesting.
Big turnout.
Yeah, Sydney did well. Just to cover it, Sydney did get the points on the Saturday night in the other Sydney derby, whatever you want to call it. So look, they're actually not. They're sitting, I think, third now or fourth, Sydney. I don't know how. 2 wins, a draw and a loss. So things are looking not as bad as they were at the start of the season for them. But, Borch, look, you know, whilst we had you on a bit of a roll talking, look, take us into the Adelaide-Perth game. I don't know, would you be pleased with the result? I know it's a loss, but considering what we thought would have happened, especially with Adelaide being at home for the first time, how did you feel after that one?
Yeah, but a bit disappointing again, man. And not so much with the game, man. Just everything that happened off the field just before that. But in terms of the game, with Fornaroli. But in terms of the game, quickly, look, at the end of the day, if you don't set your team up right and you don't got the players, this is what's going to happen. You cop 2 goals early doors, you get 1 back, but no really attacking threats or anything. And this is the big problem with the club at the moment. I don't know what's happening with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, a couple of years ago, we were minor premiers. Yeah, and this is where the owner Tony Sage has got to kind of step away or step down or start changing his ways, because some of the shit that he's been doing in the last couple of years, at the Wanderers or at Melbourne or a bigger club, it doesn't stand, bro. You know, and this is why this guy, because I don't know, there's no one really to challenge him. The fan base doesn't, you know, from what I can see, doesn't really challenge the owners of the club. You get stupid decisions made. You get managers. You get rid of managers. Or you keep the manager. You kept Garcia in for too long. Then you sacked him. You got rid of him, and then you brought in Zatkovic. He was a caretaker. Was he the right guy? I don't know. You got rid of all these players: Diego Castro, D'Agostino, Chianese, Economides. Castro retired or whatever it might be. Now Fornaroli, Andy Keogh is gone. And who did you bring in? And these are the things that the Perth fans need to start asking these questions. And it's like, even from before, when we were winning, we were looking to get minor premiers, but because they were paying Andy Keogh through his wife's business or something under the table, we got stripped of points. And then we ended up losing any final spots there. I think I don't know if it was the year after or the 2 years after that. That's when we got the minor premiership. But then you brought in Andy Keogh again. So there's another more problem. So this is the guy that we got stripped points because of him. And now you brought him back in, right? This is the same guy. So why? Who's making these type of decisions?
It wasn't much, Watch. His second stint wasn't much.
Exactly. He scored. I swear to God, he only scored 4 goals, and it was like the 4 goals against the Wanderers that he scored. That's about it.
Probably.
No, he was. He scored 4.
I'm pretty sure he scored 5, didn't he?
I think. Yeah, I don't know, mate. 4.
Pretty sure he scored 5.
But yeah, man, it's not. And then with the whole Fornaroli thing, I saw Andy Keogh put up he was on some sort of podcast that half of the stuff that Fornaroli came out, he said it wasn't true, that he was injured and all this other stuff. They're trying to just cover themselves. But at the end of the day, mate, look where we are. Last year, you wouldn't Spooners, right? You can't get, like, what's happening with the stadium? Is it getting renovated, or you're setting up at another thing again? Like, we're not playing at home. It's just so stupid at the moment with this club and their decision making. And it looks like you might go back to back wooden Spooners. And unfortunately, when you got owners that don't really care, Tony Sage, I think, he's overstayed his welcome. Even a couple of years ago, when he tried to make a deal with the UK cryptocurrency, whatever, to buy a bit of the club, and they've gone bankrupt now. So who knows where the club would have been. And especially with a club with more history than anyone in the league, obviously, because they were back in the NSL, a lot of prestige, a lot of history. So, and they're just taking it through the dirt. Yeah, that part is a bit upsetting more than the game. I thought Adelaide played well. Adelaide should have got maybe a bit more goals. They were the better team, absolutely. But yeah, look, I think it's just going to be a very slow process for us to get fighting for top 6.
Man, Boche, just to touch on with your Perth Glory, with your situation, man, I honestly feel like with these clubs, I reckon it's with every club, man. Like, I feel like these clubs in the A-League, I feel like when they can fork out money for the team, you know what I mean? When they fork out money, it's just like the same with our club, I reckon. It's honestly the same thing. Like, when they can fork out money, they'll fork out money for the team. I just feel like when they can't and their bank balance is a bit tight, man,
yeah, but
I just feel like they're just holding off for a bit, man, and you just got to suck it up for a bit, because we sucked it up.
Yeah,
for
but you know what? There's no problem if the club is in some sort of financial issues. Cool story. But when you're making decisions like bringing Sturridge in and he's played 2 minutes, whose decision's that? The player should. You terminated his contract.
That's more of a. He got starstruck, man, by the name.
Yeah, but this is what I mean.
Play.
Whoever made that decision to sign him after knowing his record, he barely played for that Trabzonspor, wherever he was in Turkey, barely played there, and you brought him in on a risk. You paid him whatever.
How many games did he play?
Yeah, who's this? Sorry, who'd you say?
Ex-keeper from Liverpool. Brad Jones.
Yeah, Brad Jones last year as well. Right, back in the days we've had there goes Kev again, mate. We've had like William Gallas and Fowler and all these guys, and it's like, all right, it might have worked out there because you had a better squad around him, around like everyone else. But bro, who sanctioned the signing of Daniel Sturridge? Anyone could have told you that if he gets injured, it's all over. And you know the first game in where he wasn't injured. Or he couldn't make the flight to Melbourne or Adelaide. It was too long, or some rubbish like that. And then
I don't blame him after today, boy.
But bro, and this is the thing: whoever sanctioned that, they should get the axe as well, because these guys. It's not like you're getting Del Piero or someone like that that's gonna come in and be like off the ground running and all that sort of stuff, when he's going to bring in the crowds. Daniel Sturridge didn't do any of that, but they still tried to sell his merchandise and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but we have a lot of problems at the club at the moment, so and it's a bit frustrating. I just watch the boys, you know, and I'll still watch the boys week in, week out, and you know, hope that things get better, hope that they start playing. There's still a lot of them are young players, and hopefully they can build something, and if it's not this season, not next season, or maybe the season after, then you know what I mean, I'm gonna still be here, still rolling with the punches. It is what it is.
I think, and respectfully, all the results have been quite close.
Yeah. We haven't been. We a lot of the games that we've looked at, I think we kind of, even me, heart in heart, would say, I don't know, you know, we could get slapped up here. But we've kept it respectable. 1-0 against you guys. The second game, who did we play against the second game? I don't remember. But again, I think it wasn't a big score line. Then we end up getting the win against the Mariners, and then look, another 2-1 here. So yeah,
look, it's been respectable for Perth Glory. I think, you know, with everything in consideration, I would have loved to touch on this topic a lot more, but, conscious of time, because somebody, somebody who's on this panel right now, Marty, knowing, about the whole Central Coast situation, how much turnover there is there. But obviously with the look to, getting rid of the youth and getting money for the youth and then redeveloping, I think one of the best developed clubs in A-League history, like in terms of the talent that comes out of that club. I think Marty, maybe we might have an opportunity to touch on it a bit later, but it's definitely something that if you get right,
exactly.
You probably don't have to spend the money that everybody else spends. I know that you guys brought in Luis Enrique, but I think that was the one gimmick that you've ever done. Everything else has sort of been homegrown. Just moving on to the last game, guys. This is the one I went to down in Melbourne. Melbourne City, Wellington Phoenix, 2-2. The only thing I'm going to say is I don't know how Melbourne City let this one go. All credit to Wellington Phoenix in the way that they ended the match. Shout out to the Melbourne-based Wellington Phoenix supporters. They had a banner there. They made a lot of noise for the 100 or 150 guys that were there in that bay. Made a lot of noise. They were a little bit quiet after they went down 2-0. But surely they brought the team home, and considering Melbourne going up 2-0, it was a bit of a feat to pull that result. Not too sure if any of you boys caught that action. Any thoughts? Maybe Marty, we'll start with you.
Yeah, have Melbourne City finished off a game this year? I mean, they seem to be 10 minutes short in every game. That just in that back half. I mean, I was cheering home Wellington left, right, and centre, but they just switched off. I mean, they can play some brilliant football. Don't get me wrong. I think when that team fires, I mean, they're gonna beat anyone in the comp. But they just had this ability just to be able to switch off, and I just noticed, and they did it against Wellington. And the minute they did it, they lost momentum that they had, and they struggled. And Wellington were good value to get their second goal. I mean, it was always going to be Barbarouses who was going to score it. You could always see that coming a mile away, but. Yeah, City just seem to they seem to play in third gear. They get the goals, they sort of drift through a game, and then they just seem to get to this point where they go, I think we've done this, boys. Let's just, put the cue in the rack a little bit, and they lose momentum, and other teams know, and they tend to come at them. And I'm not saying it's a big problem with Melbourne City and, it's going to cause them big issues, but they don't want to be dropping points at home to anybody, let alone if it's a Wellington or anyone else. So, I mean, for the neutral, that last 10, 15 minutes was fantastic. You just saw the momentum. Great substitutions, I thought, for Wellington. I thought they brought on players at the right time when Melbourne had just, as I said, backed off a bit, made the big difference. So, credit to them. So, good value for their point, I thought.
Yeah, Banana, did you catch this one as well?
Yeah, I catch bits and pieces of the game. I think I saw the first two goals. I drove home. Just happened to catch the goal from the corner, the first goal Wellington scored, the rocket of a shot, man, that bloke scored, man, unbelievable. And I think I just ducked outside and I come back in, I seen Barbarouses celebrating. And yeah, man, like you said, they switch off towards the back end of the game. They go, like you said, into neutral, man. They relax a bit, man. And I think it's gonna play with their minds now a little bit in the next game. They probably won't
against Perth.
Play with them too much.
They better play.
Be there.
It better play with their heads.
Goal, it's gonna play with their head.
I hope so this week because it's Perth, and we always. I swear to God, look at the results in the last few years. This fixture, the away team has always won. So come on, bro. I hope it gets into their heads. But you know what I reckon? Yeah,
must be a bogey team.
Yeah, I think so. Let's hope we get the points though. But the thing is, with Melbourne City, they've got a lot of players in their squad that are looking to be picked for the World Cup. I think they're 2-0 up, they're cruise control. Let's just go easy. I don't want to get no injuries. I want to get picked. A lot of players, it's probably their one and only opportunity to make a World Cup. Because really, we don't got this golden generation that's going to be taking us, 4, 5, or 8 years or, more than one World Cup with this squad. So when you got like your Tilios and your Jamie McLaren and then a lot of other players in their squad, they're like, look, we're 2-0 up, we're kind of cruising. Let's not go full pelt now. Naboo, you got Naboo. Who else is there? Who's the other guy? Lecky as well. So they're like, well, let's not kill ourselves. Let's just get the points. It is Wellington, or it might be Perth. let's drop it in gear 1 and just cruise to the final whistle, and they're a little bit complacent, and they cop the 2 goals. And I think maybe that Marty was saying the last 10 minutes, that could be playing on their minds as well. And it's not just for the A-League teams, all across Europe. You see a lot of players looks like they're not themselves, or the World Cup is around the corner. And it could be on their minds.
It's only a couple of weeks away, but look, to be honest, Wellington actually had a goal disallowed before they scored there too. They were red hot those last 20 minutes, and it was only just offside from the free kick. It was a header. The warning signs were there. The warning signs were there for City. They could have done something about it. Maybe the coach, maybe Paddy Casnorbo was too worried about Tuesday morning at the Cup over in the birdcage. But you never know. You just see focus wasn't there. But you're right, Butch. There's it's both here and abroad where a lot of players, you see them either not so much pulling out, but not committing 100%. It's really, and I get it. It's a World Cup, but at the same time, you're a paid professional.
Yeah.
You should get on with the game. There's
Yeah, but it's hard, bro. It's hard when it's a World Cup and it could be your only opportunity. It's not like you're in the Premier League or in Europe where you're guaranteed there's a lot of starters for their countries, but not in the Socceroos at the moment. And you saw some of the Socceroos already have injuries that from previous weeks, qualifications and all that are missing out. And these players, their one and only opportunity could be, bro, and they don't want to miss it out. So if they can try cruise at the last 10. They would, but unfortunately, they just get caught out. Some of the games where they won, you probably don't even think about that because it's like, it's Melbourne City. They should be winning these games anyways, but it is what it is, bro.
It is what it is. But look, that wrapped up round 4 of the A-League, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go into some predictions for round 5. Maybe we'll cover a little bit of the Western Sydney Wanderers Central Coast match.
Yeah, do a bit of a preview on that one, mate. Why not?
We'll do a preview on that one. But looking at the fixtures, we're starting, Friday night, and we've got Melbourne Victory at home, and they are playing against Newcastle Jets. We'll just go around the grounds. Marty, quick prediction?
Tough one for me because I think Newcastle have actually played pretty well. They weren't that crash shot last week. Victory, who knows? But I just got to go with Victory, at least picking up some points. 1-0 for me.
Nice. Banana?
Yeah, I'm going to go. I think Victory is just going to be too strong at home. They need to get these 3 points. It's itching away at them. I think they know themselves, man. So, too strong Victory at home.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'll go Victory. I think it'll be a close game. Then they do need to score some goals if they want to beat Newcastle. Let's go for a 2-1 victory.
Yeah, boys, I don't know. I sort of gave them the benefit of the doubt playing Sydney, playing Wanderers, playing City, but then playing Brisbane and not scoring hasn't convinced me. I'm gonna go maybe a draw here. I'll go a 1-1 draw. We move on. Melbourne City against Perth Glory, Butch. Perth Glory at nice $8 odds there at Neds if you want it. But Butch, you feeling confident in this one?
Yeah, not really, mate. Not really. Let's hope we can keep it respectable. If we can get an early goal, you never know. But I think maybe that last 10 minutes we can get onto City. But let's go. I will go for maybe. Bro, it's gonna be like a 3-0 City, isn't it? It's hard to say, but fuck.
Never know. Banana.
Yeah, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, mate.
Bro, I can't see Perth Glory getting a goal here, man. Fucking hell, bro. That's a tough one, man, to us. Plus, City coming off the 2-2 draw, copping the late 2 goals, bro. Kisnoba is gonna be. You've seen how he's drilled them. You've seen that A-League all access thing, man. You see how he talks to them, how he revs them up, man.
Yeah.
So I think he's been revving them up since the 90th minute of round 4, man. So they'll be raving to go, guys.
Marty?
Yeah, look, I'd love to see Perth win or snatch a draw, but I just can't see it. I think it's 3-0 to City. I think they'll have a point to prove this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you boys. A 3+ deficit for City, and at home, especially like Banana said, off the back of a draw, which Paddy will be on their asses. So yeah, tough one there. Look, we'll go to the other Saturday night match, which is the Western Sydney Wanderers and Central Coast Mariners. let's do a bit of a preview on this one, boys. All I'm gonna say is, you know what, this takes me back to obviously season 1. You know, it was a 1 and 2 race to the finish, and Central Coast by no means, you know, I think Marty, you touched on it earlier, your attack versus the Wanderers' defense. This is going to be one, I think. This is going to be a cracker of a game on Saturday night. And to Borges' point, the Central Coast have some speed, man. Wanderers are going to have to maybe, come up with something different in terms of how they're going to defend this one. I'll let Banana go first since we're at home. What are your thoughts on this one?
Oh, it won't be an easy one, man. Fucking Mariners, man, they've got a decent side, man. They've got a decent side that's going to compete every single game, man. Like, we've seen it over the years, man. They don't have the biggest budget in the league, man, but they're very competitive, man. They bring out some good talent in their squad, man. But if we can play the same game we played last week with the high press and, man, the intensity they kept for 90 minutes, man, we should get over. But like I said, they'll pester us, man, as usual, man. I reckon they'll bag a goal here and there, man. It's going to be a tough ask, but I reckon we'll get a 2-1 win for us, man. I don't normally say that, but yeah, 2-1 win.
Banana being optimistic this one. Marty, what are your thoughts? Obviously, you know, the boys traveling down, and they would obviously know a little bit about the Wanderers and where they're sitting on the table. You know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting, first of all, with our lineup, because we've sort of had a few ins and outs lately. I mean, Garang Kuol will probably start this game. I think Nkalola will probably start, and I think they're our best Y guys, although Sammy Silveira's scored a couple of goals early in the season. So, you know, Cummings has played well up front, knocking away. So scoring goals, you know, we'll have the potential to score the goals. I think both teams would, as I said before, would probably love their backlines to be a little bit more solid than they have been. You know, I think they've both got a bit of a mistake in them. I think this will be one in the middle of the park. I think this will be, you know, the Wanderers middle against our middle. And I think that's where it'll be won and lost. I think it's going to be, as much as it'll be a tight game, but I think there'll actually be goals in it. If we can get a draw out of it, I'll be a happy man. So I'll take a 2-2.
Nice, a 2-2 there from Marty Butch. What do you reckon, mate? Looking from the outside in, you know.
Yeah, mate.
You're living west of Sydney, but you know, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I might be down there, mate. Might be down there. You know, home away from home, they say.
Mate, you will, bro.
I will be there, mate. We need to get the attendance up, mate. Might as well, mate. Marty might be heading down as well, right?
Bring your camera. You can bring your camera.
Can he bring his camera?
I'm gonna bring the big, you know, the ones at the weddings, the big ones, like on the roller. I want to bring one of them in. Fuck me dead.
Hubble telescope.
Yeah, that's it. I'll be the what do you call it? The player cam, mate. Pick a player, we'll get him on. Press the red button. But Marty, you should be down there as well, right? Are you coming? Are you making your way down?
Absolutely.
Maybe you should be on RBTV, mate. Bit of a post match, mate, on RBTV outside the Gate C. Outside Gate C, mate.
You know where to find us. We'll be there, mate. Everyone's welcome.
That's it. But look,
I'm sure they'd love to hear from me.
Especially when you guys win, huh? But
and Malta's back. Malta's back too. He'll be back. He's
making his debut. Malta's making his debut. But yeah, look, I think it's going to be a good game, man. I think it is going to be a good game, and I like the 2-2 scoreline as well. I think there will be goals in it. Maybe Yengi gets his one against his former club there as well, and maybe what's his name? The old mate from FC, mate. Ninkovic gets one. He gets his first goal for the
time for a goal.
Time for a goal, I reckon. He just needs to start shooting. You know, that's what it is. He just likes to keep passing outside the box. He needs to have a crack. But yeah, I do see a 2-2. I do see a game that's going to end up in maybe 2-2. Even it could be 3-2 to the Wanderers as well. It just depends. That pace might hurt the Wanderers a little bit. If they just keep plugging their balls in behind. Cummings as well. He's always a problem in that 18-yard box. So I don't know, man. 2-2 draw or 3-2 to the Wanderers. But yeah, let's hope it's a cracker of a game.
I reckon it will be a cracker, Borch. And look, I'm staying positive. I know on RBTV last week I did predict the win against Newcastle, and I think I'm going to stick with the same sort of theory. I think it's time that the Wanderers start scoring some goals. And look, I'm not taking away from the fact that Central Coast can. They definitely can. I'm just riding this wave of, you know, the Giants are back. And I'll take a 3.
The sleeping Giants.
The sleeping
Sleeping.
giants are back.
We're snoozing. We're snoozing.
We're snoozing, but I'll take a 3-1 win. I know it's not going to be easy, but I think there's confidence growing in the squad. Hopefully, the numbers inside the stadium improve, and it's always a good game against Central Coast Mariners. So, if
Not just our numbers, everywhere numbers. Everywhere Mariners, Newcastle, Melbourne City. Not so much Western United, yeah.
Yeah, and not so much up there. But, look, I'm predicting a win. We'll see how that one goes. Quickly to wrap it up, there's 3 games on Sunday. We've got Wellington Phoenix versus MacArthur. Marty, we'll start with you.
Mate, MacArthur probably will be coming out of last week feeling a bit hurt and want to come back and fire up. But Wellington haven't played too bad. They'll have confidence coming back on City. So I think that should be a really tight one. It's a 1-1 for me.
Nice. Butch?
Yeah, I think I might get from MacArthur win. They look decent at times in that game, and took their opportunities well. Could have snatched the 3-0 at the end as well. The guy hit the crossbar, so right at the end. So I'll go for a 2-1 MacArthur win. Maybe they'll let me in next time.
Not with the camera.
Yeah. I'm going to go Wellington, bro. They're due for a win, man. After last week's performance, I reckon they'll be G'd up, ready to go, man. I reckon it's time to get a win. MacArthur for another L, man. And, yeah, they're lacking in the middle again. They're a bit thin. No Davila at the back line now. They're a little bit empty too. So I don't know who's going to replace the guy at the back. But, yeah, I'm gonna go Wellington, man. They're due for a win.
Yeah, this is one of those games where it's not that easy. It's not that clear. I think off the back of last week's performance, a really good result coming from behind against City. I could back Wellington Phoenix 2-0 probably, but at the same time, it could be the exact reverse result, right? It could be a MacArthur 2-0, but I'll go with Wellington for now. But it could be anything in that game.
Yeah, they got Aspro out as well.
Wellington.
In Wellington.
They're playing it. Yeah,
Wellington.
Is it Wellington or Wollongong? No, Wellington, I think.
Sky Stadium, yeah.
Yeah. They got Aspro out as well from that red card against Sydney FC. Man, I was outside longer than he was on the pitch. Unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, mate.
He didn't have a camera on him.
He didn't have a camera on him. Oh, okay, fair enough.
But the second match of the day is Brisbane Roar versus Sydney FC. We'll go in reverse order this time. Let's go with Borche.
Yeah, let's go Brisbane Roar, mate. Let's go Mr. Charlie Austin. To win the game, mate. Get him up 2-0. Get 2-0 Brisbane.
Banana?
Oh, there's nothing more I'd love to see than Brisbane Roar win, but fuck, it's a tough ask. Sydney, they're going all right. If you minus the referees' decisions, they're playing all right. Lolly's flying for him, man. He's a danger man for him, man. So, fuck, man, I reckon Sydney will get another win, the bastards. I reckon they'll get another win.
Yeah, look, to me, this is probably the toughest game to pick because you just don't know which teams are going to turn up. If the Brisbane turned up against Victory like they did the other week, they'll battle away, and it just depends on Sydney. But I just have a feeling Sydney will probably scrape at 1-0. VAR decision penalty, 94th minute.
Another one.
Another one. Yeah, we might go for the trifecta of VAR blunders. Look, this one, I think for me, it screams Sydney FC. I'm not really confident in Brisbane Roar and their ability to get some goals. I know the only goal they've scored is happens to be against the Western Sydney Wanderers, which is the only goal the Western Sydney Wanderers have conceded. So it's a bit of irony there. But I don't see where the goals are going to come from. They're not really striking me as a very confident team. So I will take Sydney FC, unfortunately, in this one, probably a 2-0 scoreline. And we will wrap up the round, and it is Western United taking on Adelaide. 3 games at Amy Park this weekend. Geez, if you're in Melbourne and you're not there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's something wrong with you guys. But Western United, Adelaide, we'll go back in reverse order. Marty, thoughts?
Western will be without Topol Stanley, which I think they'll miss him because they were just so disorganised when he went. I love watching Adelaide play when they're free-flowing. But they're playing away from home. Look, I'm going to tip another draw. I've had so many draws this weekend, but I think they'll be full of them. I think it's another 1-1 draw.
Nice. Borch?
Yeah, I'll go for a 1-1 as well, man. I think this one's going to be a draw as well.
Nice. And Banana?
You're going to go for Adelaide, man. They're starting to gel a little bit, man. If they can get Goodwin firing again, keep him fit, man. I can't see why they can't get 3 points over there, man. They always have they always got luck going over there to Amy Park for some reason. So that's the only thing I'm going to go swing with.
Yeah, I'm going to lead towards Adelaide because I think Western United champs are going to prove to be chumps this weekend. So not really confident with anything that they're doing at the moment. So I will take Adelaide. I'll take Adelaide 2-0. So we'll see how that one goes. But we will. That's where we wrap up the round 5 preview, boys. Thanks again for joining me on the show. Give you a few seconds quickly to plug your socials and your channels. Banana, go for it first.
Yeah, but Red and Black TV, you know where to find us, mate. Insta, Twitter, Facebook, and not anywhere else yet. But that's
show us the hat, mate. Show us the hat. Where's the merch dropping?
The hat's here. There you go. You can see it. I'm flicking it.
And Marty?
Yeah, just the Marty Mariner Show. Interview old Mariners players who've obviously played for a few different clubs. I had a good old chat with Matt Simon the other week, which was really cool. I also got a couple of panel shows where I get other people from other clubs on just to chat how they're going and how they see us and we see them. We have a good bit of fun. So check us out on there and just Marty Mariner on all the other socials.
Nice. And obviously Borja and I are here on the football capital.
You can always catch me outside of Campbelltown Stadium as well.
Yeah, he'd be waiting there with his cap.
In handcuffs.
But, guys, as always, all we ask, if you're watching the content, please support all our content creators. And if you can, like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you on the next one.